أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا مولانا حبيب الله العالمين أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين. ولعنة الله على القوم الظالمين من الأولين والآخرين. أما بعد. صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة لكل مؤمن ومؤمنات غريب مظلوم كالبلاء. فيا ليتني يا ليتني كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وسقاهم ربكم شرابا طهورا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. الصلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Azadali Hussein, something which we established in the first night when we spoke together, and most of you I think were there, and there are some new faces, so you are most welcome. In the first night, we said that the day of Ashura, whilst it's painful and difficult and has intense suffering, it is also a day of beauty. The days which are coming up, when Sayyidah Zainab looks back and at the day which is coming of Ashura, she says, I see nothing but beauty. Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. So we set ourselves something of a challenge, that as these nights are progressing, let's try and understand more and more about the beauty of Hussein, the beauty which he exhibits on Ashura. Now, it seems like this beauty is something which is special, distinct type of beauty, because the day of Ashura is only about 10 or 11 hours long. That's Ashura, the actual day, from Fajr until Maghrib. But something happens within these 10 or 11 hours which the beauty is so intense that Zainab sees nothing except this beauty. And so for us, we had agreed that I want to know what this beauty is. I want to be part of it. I want to experience it. I want to feel it. But this beauty belongs both in Akhirah and Dunya, as we established. The Azadar of Imam al-Hussein experiences intense beauty in Akhirah, the reward of your tears, but also in Dunya. It means that as you walk your steps in this world, each step becomes more and more beautiful in Dunya. A person may then ask a good question. I want to experience the beauty of Hussein in Dunya. Every step I take, I should feel this beauty, this sweetness. What does it feel like? What is this sensation of the beauty of being a Husseini, which is there to be had? Okay, the 9th of Muharram, Abu Abdullah has gathered all of his companions in one tent. He's spoken to them in the famous dialogue, which all of you know. And he says, all of you come towards me. I wish to tell you your reward in Jannah. One by one they come. He tells you, in Jannah, this will be your maqam. You'll be here, and I'll be here, and you'll be this close to me. One by one he tells them, in Jannah, you'll be here, you'll be here. Then Qasim ibn al-Hassan comes to him. In honor of Hazrat Qasim, salawatu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. What are we seeking? Beauty. Qasim comes. Is my uncle Hussein, will I also be sacrificed on this day where you're selling everyone their maqam in Jannah? Abu Abdullah replies, Qasim, tell me, how do you find death? And he responds, I see death as sweeter than honey. Ahlam min al-asal. Death for me, to die in your path, oh my uncle Abu Abdullah, it is sweeter than honey. Pause for a second. Qasim, not only has Ashra not come, he doesn't even know whether he's allowed to fight yet. And already he's experiencing some sweetness in dunya. He's about to say, will I die? Before he's even answered, he says, I already experienced sweetness. It is sweeter than honey to fight for you, my master. So whatever this beauty is, however it feels, Qasim's feeling it now, before Ashura. The question then is, if Qasim's experiencing this sweetness of being a Husayni, what is that sweetness of Qasim? What is it? How did he get there? And how can I get there? By the end of this discussion, inshallah, we will discuss how each and every one of us can experience the same sweetness Qasim felt on the 9th of Muharram. If you're with me in this discussion, inshallah, and also, you know where I'm going. Also, because I've been thinking a lot about the 12th Imam, because we had a lecture a few days ago about him as well. In honor of our 12th Imam, and to welcome him to this gathering in Rugby, Sallallahu Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. I see death as sweeter than honey. Now, sweetness is something which is very inherent within being a human being. All people are naturally attracted to sweet things. Those of you who have children know this. Your children will naturally go for the sweet foods which will ruin their teeth, but they will go to them naturally, instinctively. When you feed a medicine to a child, they make them in sweet strawberry flavor because the child naturally likes sweet things. Or when you're feeding your children and they're not taking the food, you put it with sweet food just so they swallow it. Human beings naturally like sweetness. This sweetness of Qasim is a different level. It's not the ordinary sweetness of food and drink. It is the sweetness of the heart. And for each and every one of us to experience this sweetness, there is one condition, one shart, which must be fulfilled in order to feel the sweetness of Iman in the heart. قال Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam. He said, Imam Sadiq says, Haramun ala qulubikum. It is haram for your hearts. أن تضرب حلاوة الإيمان, to experience the sweetness of Iman. It's haram for you. حتى تزهدوا في الدنيا, until you abstain from dunya. Until this, you will never experience any sweetness. But the moment you do zuhd meaning what? Abstaining, staying away, keeping away from the pleasures of this dunya, only then you experience the sweetness of Iman in your heart. When a person has this sweetness, you don't have to tell them, have you prayed namaz? They themselves say, I wish for the sweetness of salah. You don't have to convince them, Shahr Ramadan is coming, you should fast. It comes from inside because they already have this sweetness of Iman within them. But the thing which you must do to experience this, stay away from dunya. The pleasures of this world, this worldly life, money and fame, power over people, izzah in society, people admiring you, all of these things take away the sweetness of Iman. Over the last few nights we mentioned Abu Abdullah is constantly telling his people, stay away from dunya. My path does not belong to those people who love dunya. The path of being a Husayni is for those who are not attracted or fooled by this dunya. He says himself, this world is despicable for me, keep it away from me. Imam Ali says to this dunya, stay away from me, I have done talaq on you 3 times already. Don't come near me. I have no relation to the love of this world. So, the condition for all of us is, if you want that sweetness, number 1, you have to abstain from dunya. But the dunya will resist. Because this world has been created in order to attract you. So the more you run away from it, the more sweet it will appear in front of you. Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam says, that beware of this dunya. Beware. Because it appears sweet to entice you towards it. And is covered in shahawa, desires. Beware of it. The closer you go towards it, the closer you are to damnation. Be wary of this dunya. When the Holy Prophet went on Mi'raj, which we mentioned a few times over the last few nights, why is it Mi'raj? Allah is giving him some advice, some guidance. He says, Ahmad, always do my dhikr. Always remember me. قَالَ رَبَّكُمْ عَدْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. If you call upon me, I will answer. Also, seclude yourself from the people sometimes. Make time for yourself, stay away from the people, it will be good for you. And despise, have hatred for the sweet and sourness of this dunya, for you will be fooled by its instability. Clear your stomach from it, stay away from it. You see, this dunya, maybe you've experienced the same thing. Sometimes people are extremely successful in this life. They have a great job, and they have a great car, and their life is going perfectly. And in 1 second, everything can flip. Will that person keep their iman, or will their iman go with their money? This dunya is covered in sweetness and sourness. Allah is saying, don't follow the sweetness or the sourness, stay away. Because as the Prophet says, love for dunya and love for Allah cannot exist in the same heart. They'll always be at conflict. You know, the night of Hur, remember we mentioned, when Hur says, أَنِّيَ خَيْرُ نَفْسِي بَيْنَ الْجَنَّةِ وَالنَّارِ, I've placed my soul between heaven and hell. In that moment, both heaven and hell were fighting within him. And he had to go with one. There was no other option. Dunya and Allah are like this. Within your heart there is a battle between them. But at one point, there will be a point where you have to choose between them. Because they can't both be there. They cannot coexist in the same heart. So, Qasim is somebody that his heart has already been conquered for Allah. He's no longer attracted to the dunya in the way that other people his age are. When you're young and you're youthful, dunya is extremely attractive. But when you're young like Qasim, all you see is the sweetness of dying under the banner of Hussein. So, the thing which is taking us away from this goal is love of dunya. Amongst all of the people who abandoned Abu Abdullah, the ones who knew his maqam but still ignored him have a special badness. Who? They know him. They were at Ghadir. They saw Mubahila. They were at the Pledge of Ridwan. They saw his father give bay'ah. They saw all of these things. They saw him sitting on the shoulders of Rasulullah. But when the time came, their love for dunya took them away from Hussein. Because as Allah told Dawood once, when the people who know Allah don't follow him, Allah takes away the sweetness of ibadat from them. Why? Because they know. They have the ilm, but they don't do the amal. And the one who has ilm but doesn't do amal on it, Allah takes away sweetness. And that's why we mentioned the 6 criticisms of ulama, if you remember, yeah? One of them was, the ulama of the time of Abu Abdullah, they knew Hussein's maqam, but they were chasing the fame amongst the people instead of pleasing Ahlul Bayt. Because of this, they lost the sweetness of Islam within their hearts. So, the one who wants the sweetness of Iman must have love for Allah and not for dunya. Where do we see this sweetness? On the 9th of Muharram and the day of Ashura. On that day, and please let me have your attention for this point. Many times on the 9th of Muharram and 10th of Muharram, we are mourning and crying and weeping, because we should be. It is a day of intense sadness. But on the actual 9th of Muharram, there was not sadness in the camp of Hussein. There was joy. 9th of Muharram, the next day is a battle, 72 against 30,000. They should be scared, but for some reason, there is sweetness and intense ecstasy in the camp of Hussein. For example, Burayr. Burayr is one of the companions of Hussein, known as the Qari of the Shuhada, because he's always reading Quran and reciting Quran. On the 9th of Muharram, Burayr is seen making jokes and laughing with the people. 9th of Muharram. So Abdurrahman Ansari, one of the enemy, looks at him and says, Burayr, why are you joking? What's funny? We have you surrounded. Burayr replies that it's true, I don't usually make jokes. But right now I've come from the tent of Abu Abdullah. he showed me through my eyes my maqam in Jannah. And he showed me the hur who are waiting for me in Jannah. And the only thing stopping me joining them now is your sword. I wish you would strike me now. Why? Because for them they are experiencing a strange type of joy on 9th of Muharram. Because they are seeing the sweetness of the beauty of Akhirah. Another example. Imam Hussain is praying Fajr. Muslim and Sa'id are doing what? They are standing, protecting him from the arrows of the enemy. Because the enemy saw when Hussain prays, would attack them. Two companions standing in front of Abu Abdullah while he's leading Salah, jumping to catch the arrows in their bodies, competing with each other to see which of us will collect more arrows, knowing we've stopped it hitting Hussein. It takes a strange type of joy and love and sweetness and beauty to even think like this. That every arrow that goes in my body, which should cause pain, causes me pleasure. For I am thankful and grateful Allah chose it to hit me instead of my Aqa Hussein. They are experiencing a strange... Habib ibn Madahir, Habib, the great Habib. On the 9th of Muharram, Habib is seen smiling, walking around the camp. Smiling, Habib ibn Madahir. They said, Habib, why are you smiling? He says, tell me a better time to smile than this night. The only time shuhada become sad is when they're leaving Abu Abdullah or when they see his suffering. But for themselves, they are at such peace and ease and happiness and sukoon. 9th of Muharram is like Jannah for them. The sweetness of Iman is radiating from their hearts. Here comes Qasim now. Qasim, now we'll talk about Qasim. He comes into the room. He says, Abu Abdullah, I wish to know my reward. He tells him. Qasim says, death for me is sweeter than honey. Here's the most important part. Qasim doesn't know he's going to die. Qasim doesn't believe he'll be allowed to fight. Qasim has just seen around him people preparing for death. And he feels in his heart, I wish to join them. I want to be part of them. I want the same pleasure. And just because of this will, this desire, Allah blesses him the most intense sweetness. No other 14-year-old on this earth has the sweetness of Qasim ibn Hassan. Ahla min al-asal. There are a few reasons why Qasim is especially feeling this day. One of them is we have a narration from Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam. That the one who dies recognizing their Imam, Allah will make sure that they taste the sweetness of loyalty to their Imam. Wafadari is not an emotion to be had unless you have the sweetness and the beauty of Wafadari. Qasim dies with Wafadari of Abu Abdullah, loyalty to Hussein. Another narration, Adl, the one who dies with Adl. Adl is Ahlam min al-ma'i yudhihul dhaman. Adl, justice, is sweeter than water to a thirsty man. Adl, justice, has sweetness within it. A few nights ago we mentioned the Imam is like water. Did we say this? Why is the Imam water? Because the more you take to the Imam, the more you take from the Imam. And he's like an endless ocean of rahmah and mercy, the Imam of Ahlul Bayt. But justice is better than thirst of water. Qasim's thirsty, Habib's thirsty, they're all thirsty. But they are happy to be thirsty as long as they are close to the Imam of their time. They're no longer experiencing the same emotions as us. Physical pain and pleasure mean nothing. The only measure of greatness is how close are you to your Imam. The Holy Prophet says, one wound, all we're discussing is how can I have sweetness. If you die or if you experience one wound on your body, one wound for the sake of this religion of Islam, you will rise on the day of Qiyamah with a sweet fragrance coming from your body. How many wounds will Qasim receive? So imagine in Jannah how sweet the fragrance of Qasim will be. One wound for the shaheed is a source of one portion of fragrance. So how much will Qasim receive? That his whole body is wounded for the sake of this religion. And also, for those of us who are not alive during Ashura, the Prophet continues, even if you aren't there to die with one wound, just wish to be shaheed and you'll be raised with the maqam of one who is shaheed. Just have that wish. And you'll be raised with the same fragrance. Even if you die in your bed, you'll be raised with the shaheed, with the same fragrance, because you died wishing to die with the Imam. Let me mention a point to you. A few moments ago I said that there are some people that when they would jump and they would try and catch the arrows in their body. Yeah. When I mentioned in the beginning of my majlis every night, you know the khutbah, the beginning bit, I say, Ya laytani kuntu ma'akum sadati fanafuza fawzan azima. I wish that I could have shared that maqam with you, Hussein, of that great sacrifice. I wish I was there. If you have that desire, the narration says, you'll be raised with the people who were there. But you have to mean it. You have to truly believe it. There was a person he always said this, Ya laytani, I wish I was there. He always used to say it. One day he goes to sleep. What's he always saying? Hussein, I wish I was there with you. In a dream he sees Abu Abdullah in front of him. Hussein says, stop saying this. You should not say the words, I wish I was there with you. You are not my shaheed. But the man says, no, really, if I was alive, I would have joined you. As he says this, an arrow is struck towards him, but he bows down to save himself. The arrow hits Abu Abdullah. Hussein then says, you see, my shaheed are different. Don't compare yourself to us. Only say it if you mean it. Because the shuhada of Karbala are experiencing a level of sweetness and beauty unparalleled. What do they say? On the 9th of Muharram, the camp of Hussein is like buzzing noises coming, like there is a hive of bees in that camp. Why? Because all of them are buzzing. Either they are laughing or joking or reading Quran or smiling, but there is so much activity and life coming. It's like there are bees circulating in this area. You would think that when 30,000 are surrounding 72, they should have no reason for joy, and yet they're having nothing except sweetness. There are these people who are buzzing like this, because each of them is like a bee. The Holy Prophet says, be like the bee. The mu'min is like a bee. Everything they take in, they make sweeter. The bee eats many things, but it only leaves behind honey. Imam Ali says, you should know what's in the stomach of the bee. If you did, you would eat the same thing. My mu'min is like this. Whatever they take in, they reverse and take out with sweetness and halawat. But remember, if the people are bees, what about Abu Abdullah himself? If the shuhada are buzzing like bees, what about Hussein? What about his beauty? Where Imam Ja'far Sadiq says that we Ahlul Bayt, we are the namal of the Quran, we are the bees of the Quran. When Quran says the bees go to the trees, it means we go to the people. And when Quran says bees go to the mountains, it means we are far away from the people and we are far removed from them. But wherever we go, there is the sweetness of honey. Qasim says death is sweeter than honey. Why? Because he is with Hussein. And Hussein is the source of sweetness, the source of honey. And the closer you are to Abu Abdullah, the more sweet you are. And finally, I say to all of you, the Azadar, being an Azadar makes you sweet. We weren't there at Karbala. We are here to mourn for Abu Abdullah. But just by mourning for him, we become sweet ourselves. What do we say in Ziyarat Ashura? Right at the end, the last line, or one of the last lines, we go into sajda and say, Alhamdulillahi lakal hamd al-shakirin. Allah, I am grateful amongst the most grateful. Why? Alhamdulillahi ala azimi raziyati. Thank you, Allah, for the great sadness of Hussein you have given to me. I wasn't there, but I'm still grateful I can at least mourn for him. So thank you. We go into sajda actually and we say, ala azimi raziyati. This azim sadness which would break mountains, I am grateful, I will never leave this sadness. And so Allah says, the more that you appreciate my benefits of sweetness, the more sweet I make your ibadah. So, in closing I say to all the mu'mineen, the believers, Qasim on the 9th of Muharram has experienced an intense level of beauty. We pray that we can walk the same footsteps of Qasim, inshallah. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Let's now turn to the musibah of Abu Abdullah. In these nights, my heart tells me just to mourn for Abu Abdullah, just Masaib. Qasim ibn Hassan, Shahzada Qasim, Ma'soom Qasim. He has left the tent of Abu Abdullah saying, I wish to be martyred with you. And he says, Ya Abu Abdullah, will I die with you? Will I have this opportunity? Hussein says, look over there. Do you see in that room? My 6-month Ali Asghar is in that room. Even he will be shaheed on tomorrow's day. Even him. All of us are here for shahada. And so Qasim goes back motivated that tomorrow I'm going to die for Abu Abdullah. I have this opportunity. I have this chance. There is one heartbreaking narration I will mention for you, which happens in this exact moment. Hazrat Qasim has said these words, death is sweeter than honey, and he leaves. As he leaves, the narration says that Hazrat Ali Akbar is sitting with Abu Fadl Abbas. When 9th of Muharram, they're sitting together. While they're sitting, Ali Akbar says, my uncle Abbas, may I tell you something? He says, of course, tell me, my master. Tomorrow, I wish I am the first person to die for Abu Abdullah. Ali Akbar says this. He says, Abbas, I am young, I should fight, whereas you are a father. Abbas, you are the standard bearer of this army. If you go, I know Hussein's back will be broken. But if I go, he will at least have you to help him. Abbas says, no, Ali Akbar, I wish I will fight before you. I will be embarrassed if you are died before I die, for I am the commander of this army. And you are the Noor-e-Ain of Hussein. When he sees you, his eyes lights up with power, with happiness. But then he says, no, Abbas, you are the commander of the army. You must live while I die. While they're speaking, Qasim enters and says, I wish I am the first person to die for Abu Abdullah. He says, Abbas, you are the army's commander. You cannot go. Akbar, you are the light of my father's eyes. You cannot go. But I am Qasim. I am Yatim. No one will mourn for me if I go first. As he says this, Hussein runs in and hugs Qasim and says, Qasim, while I am alive, never call yourself Yatim, for I am your father on this day, O Qasim. May Allah bless you. Why did he say this? Because the last time Hussein saw his brother Imam al-Hassan, he saw him lying there. Hassan says, La yawm yawmaka ya Abu Abdullah. I am leaving everything for you, Abu Abdullah. There is no day like your day. And the last time Hussein saw Imam al-Hassan, he was pulling arrows out of the body of Hassan, for the enemy had attacked him. On Ashura, he's walking through the desert, picking up pieces of Qasim. On the left is a piece, on the right is a piece. He says, Oh Qasim, how ghareeb am I, that when you called your uncle I couldn't come, but now that I have come, what can I do for you? And the narration says, remember, Shahzada Qasim, Ma'soom Qasim, he's not the only son of Hassan. Imam Hassan has 2 sons at Ashura. One is Qasim, whose body was trampled on the desert. The second son's name was Abdullah, the son of Hassan. And the narration says, while Hussein is lying alone on the plains of Karbala, he's lost everyone. While he's lying there, Shimr is walking towards him carrying a sword. And Zainab is watching, holding this boy, Abdullah, the son of Hassan, the younger brother of Qasim. While the young boy sees Hussein alone, he leaves and runs towards him and jumps on the chest of Hussein. He says, my uncle Abu Abdullah, if you go, there will be no man left except Bimar Imam Sajjad. As he says this, Hussein holds him and keeps him close to him. But Shimr is walking behind. The narration says Shimr raises his sword. This young son of Hassan raises his arm and the sword cuts through the arm of this boy. He turns to Hussein, what does he say? He says, Abu Abdullah, I am dying on your chest. Hussein says, I have already carried the remains of your brother Qasim. When you die, go to my brother Hassan. Send the salams of Hussein to your father. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ridam wa qada'i tasliman bi amri. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, for the sake of the Jawan Qasim, help every young person in the imtihan, Ya Allah. For the sake of Qasim ibn al-Hassan and the body that was broken, keep our children safe and strong for our Imam, Ya Allah. And Ya Allah, if you wish for us to die in this month or whenever our death comes, allow us to taste the sweetness of shahadat, inshallah. Allahumma inni as'aluka bihaqqi Fatimata wa biha ba'li baniha wa as-silm musta'awdu fiha an tuslam Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.